Alright, so today we're going to finish, or hopefully have most of it done. At least part Act 1 done. Just getting my food here. So I will do.
There you are, Dunyarzad! We thought you might have been long gone by now.
Oh, it's you two. Oh, you startled me there.
You can relax now. We threw those people looking for you off the trail.
Really? Thank you so much. Unfortunately, I believe there's still more of them out there looking for me. Uh-oh, looks like there are some coming this way.
Huh? More of them? Then what are we standing here for? Run!
No, wait, my body isn't in the best shape. It's difficult for me to run. Okay, sounds good. There's a tavern on the other side of the port we can go to. They probably wouldn't expect me to hide in a place like that.
All right, let's move out. Stay behind us. We'll keep an eye out for anyone looking for you.
Ridiculously over-designed.
We made it. Oh, they shouldn't be able to find us now. Wait, stand down, Dia.
My lady, who are these two?
They're travelers that I met on the street just a moment ago. They happened to notice that you were all searching for me, so they helped me hide.
I see. In that case, you two should scram. There's nothing here for you.
Wait a sec. Who the heck are you? And why are you shooing us away?
I'm Miss Dunyarzad's bodyguard, here to see that she returns home safe and sound. My lady, let's get going. You've been gone for so long that your parents are worrying themselves sick.
And if I refuse to go with you?
It'd be easier for the both of us if you cooperated. But if you insist on not going, then I'll have to carry you like a sack of potatoes.
Hey! Dunyarzad already said she doesn't want to go back. Why are you still pushing her?
Stay out of this. You don't understand the situation. Sorry, my lady. Even though I'm your bodyguard, your parents are my employers. I have to answer to them.
How much?
Wait, what?
How much more do I have to pay you to become your employer? So you never listen to my parents ever again. Double? A triple? Give me some time and I'll get that much.
My lady, this isn't about Mora. I don't know what you think of us Eremites, but let me say this. I like Mora, but I'll never go against my principles. That's why I'm here looking for you. Sure, it's an order from my employer, but my conscience was also telling me it's the right thing to do. And knowing your health, carelessly running around like this is gonna hurt ya. For the sake of those who love you, don't be stubborn.
No, you're wrong. I'm aware of my limits and I know what I'm doing. Honestly, the only people being stubborn right now are my parents. And I know perfectly well that it makes no difference if I'm at home or not. They still won't accept reality. And every time I bring this up, they just change the subject. Dia, you've been living with us a long time already. This should be old news to you. Dia, I know it hasn't been easy for Mother and Father, and I'm grateful for everything they've done for me. But there's someone else in this world I'm also grateful to, because she saved me. The love I have for her is the same I have for my parents. This is my life and my last chance. So I want to do something meaningful.
My lady, are you sure what you're doing now is meaningful?
Yes, I'm sure. At least, it is to me.
Fine, I won't ask you to return home anymore. But let me make something very clear. I'm only doing this because I respect your determination, not because I agree with you.
Thank you, Dia. Sorry for being so rude just now. My nerves were acting up. And I even brought up your payment in such an offensive way.
Don't worry about it, my lady. I did say that I like Mora. Besides, that's our next topic of conversation. Today's little excursion caused such a ruckus that every single bodyguard at the estate was deployed. It wouldn't be easy to hide things from your old man. Since this definitely won't be your last escapade, here's a little tip. You should at least make it look like your room and things are still in order when you leave. Also, you'll need someone to cover you for when you're out and about. So, I'll let you hire me, my lady. This way, everyone wins. As for the pay, let's say half of what your father pays me. We can settle the bill when we return to the estate.
Okay, deal.
Yay! Looks like they've reached an understanding.
I'm fine, really. I just feel a little tired now that things have calmed down.
My lady, stop trying to look tough. We're already in a tavern, so let's rest up and grab some grub.
I'm sorry for worrying you two. If you don't mind, I'd like for you to join us.
Sure! After you rest up, we want to hear more about Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Your theory is just putting the cart before the horse.
Well, your perspective is just tunnel visioning.
Don't you remember your adventure plans, my lady? Your theory is just putting the cart before the horse.
Your perspective is just tunnel visioning.
Ha! Well, if it isn't Dia. Haven't seen you in nearly half a year. Word on the street is that you're a bodyguard for the Homayani family now. Ha! Don't you find that kind of work boring?
Nah, you get used to it. How about a menu over here?
You got it, huh? Isn't this little Miss Homayani herself? We don't get to serve personages like you very often. We'll be sure to prepare our very best.
Thank you, sir, but there's no need. I don't have a lot of Mora on me, and I really ought to save as much as I can. But please bring these two the best food you have. They're my new friends, so I want to be a good host for them.
Wait, we're paying for ourselves now? Aw, Paimon kinda wanted to try something fancy, but we aren't exactly loaded. Guess Paimon will settle for something ordinary.
How about our coconut charcoal cakes? They're our signature snack, and they run cheap. Look, other customers over there are eating some now.
They look kind of burnt and dry. Paimon will pass. Hey, come on! Paimon has personal preferences too, you know. Dunyarzad, we asked a lot of people when we first arrived, and almost nobody was interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali. So, what made you want to follow her?
Well, remember when you asked me if I knew how to meet the Dendro Archon? Even though I don't know how, I think I've actually seen her before.
Huh? Really?
Yes, it was when I was a child. At the time, my illness had kept me bedridden for the better part of a year. I was stuck inside and couldn't make any friends, and my parents did their best to find treatments for me. But even then, the Akasha didn't have any helpful information. My younger self no longer had any hopes or dreams. One flare-up was so bad that I was in a semi-conscious state for several days. Then one night, I woke up alone in my room. I was terrified. My body was paralyzed. Even if I cried, there was no sound. At that moment, an ethereal voice spoke in my mind. Dunyarzad, don't be scared. You don't have to cry.
Dunyarzad, don't be scared. You don't have to cry. Who are you? How do you know my name? How do I explain this? You might not be able to understand, but actually, I know everything about you. Really? Of course. I know that you're scared of thunder, that you hate taking medicine every morning, and that you love counting the petals on your mom's skirt. Wow, you really do know everything. Dunyarzad, is there anything you want? Want? Not really. I can't go anywhere or do anything. Huh? But aren't you a child? All children have wishes. Tell me what you want, and maybe I can make it happen. But can you make my illness go away? Oh. I'm sorry. But I'm not powerful enough to do that right now. Then, can you be my friend?
After that, the voice said, "Okay, I'll be your friend." Although my body was suffering during those days, that voice encouraged me and told me many wondrous things. Beyond my window was the flourishing Sumeru city. Beyond the city was a lush rainforest. And beyond that was the wall of Samiel, deserts, and all of Teyvat. Once I finally made it through that bout of illness, I couldn't hear that voice anymore. I told my mother about it, but she said that I must have been dreaming. But I know that that voice wasn't a figment of my imagination. Before that, I had never heard of Teyvat. Yes, for sure. If it weren't for that voice, I would have never grown curious about the outside world, nor would I have learned how to read and enjoy so many books. That voice sparked a desire for wisdom. It had to have been the Dendro Archon. I've been hoping for a chance to repay her kindness. In fact, I was running around today to help prepare the Sub-Zero's festival for her.
What's the Sub-Zero's festival?
It's Lesser Lord Kusanali's birthday, which was the day that she was found by the sages. It's actually an old holiday that originally celebrated Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's birthday. When she passed away, the holiday eventually became a celebration of the Lesser Lord's birthday. I heard everyone was overjoyed when they welcomed her back to Sumeru. In those days, the festival was a huge deal. But because of the Academia's influence, people have gradually lost interest in the festival. The Academia actively participates in Sumeru's many holidays dedicated to Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. But when it comes to the Sub-Zero's festival, forget any funding. They practically act like it doesn't exist. Maybe they see Lesser Lord Kusanali's birth as confirmation of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's death, so they're reluctant to celebrate it.
Aw, but that's awful.
It is. It's absolutely terrible. Sure, the Greater Lord founded Sumeru, but hasn't Lesser Lord Kusanali been the one quietly protecting us for the past few hundred years?
Just remember that we're still out in public. Don't get too carried away now.
I know that people over by the Grand Bazaar still hold the Sub-Zero's festival to this day, but I hadn't met any of them before, so I was never able to contribute. But recently, I made a friend there who also follows Lesser Lord Kusanali. I gave her my savings because I want her to throw a wonderful festival this year. That's the least I could do for Lesser Lord Kusanali.
Hold on, my lady. Does this friend happen to be Nilu, the one who sends flowers to the estate?
Yes, that's her.
I saw her leaving the other day with a nervous look on her face. It seemed like she was hiding something in her arms. Did you give her something?
Yes. Initially, I didn't have much Mora prepared, so I had Nilu sell one of my skirts. I've agreed with Nilu to meet up at the Grand Bazaar today, and see how things are coming along. Dia, would you accompany me?
Sure. That's quite the trip, though. I'll carry you.
No, that would be too much, even for you.
You might as well just accept the lift. If I let you walk, who knows how long it'll take us. And if anything happens to you, then I'd really never hear the end of it from your father.
But of course, Nilu will be thrilled to hear there are more people interested in Lesser Lord Kusanali. Sorry I'm late, Nilu.
Oh, Dunyarzad. It was taking you so long that I assumed you got trapped at home, but you made it in the end. Uh-oh. But if Dia's here, that means you got caught, right?
You could say that, but everything worked out. She's on our side now.
Not completely.
Oh. And who are these two?
Oh, meet the Traveler and Paimon, my two newest friends. They're visitors who just arrived at Sumeru City and are looking for information on Lesser Lord Kusanali.
So you're followers from another land? That's wonderful. You two absolutely mustn't miss the Sabzeruz festival. By the way, Dunyarzad, we've already started decorating the Grand Bazaar. It looks spectacular, thanks to your generous contribution.
You're very welcome. It's the only thing I could do. Do you still have enough Mora?
Probably? But don't sweat it. We've already finished renovating the stage. Come on, I'll show you.
What's so great about Snezhnayan toys anyway?
I've got great food and great drinks that everyone
In my opinion, Shoots is the best stall in the whole bazaar.
Wow! This place is amazing!
Not bad. Last time I was here, the stairs were full of holes.
The stairs were nothing. A little while ago, we discovered that the tree above the stage had a huge chunk of bark ready to fall off. Mr. Zubair was worried sick. We reported it to the academia many times, but they never sent anyone to deal with it. We didn't want anything bad happening, so we were going to cancel all the stage performances.
Oh, probably because it was the theater asking.
The academia looks down on performers like us. They probably think it would be best if the theater closed down completely. We can't let that happen, though. Not only would everyone involved in the theater go hungry, but then we wouldn't be able to hold the Sabzeruz festival anymore.
Thank the Dendro Archon for Dunyarzad. But the more she gave us, we hired someone to patch up the tree, and we also gave the stage a much-needed makeover. The stage is going to be even prettier when it's festival time. I can't wait for you to see it.
And I can't wait to see you on the stage. You've been practicing so long already. It's almost time for your dream to become reality.
It's our dream. I'll do my best for the two of us.
Nilu, what are you gonna be doing at the festival?
She'll be dancing the dance of Sumeru, the most important performance at the Sumeru festival.
Dunyarzad, have you told him the origin of this holiday?
I only told them about the Greater Lord and Lesser Lord so far.
Okay, then I'll tell you two about how this holiday came to be. According to legend, the Sumeru festival was originally the Goddess of Flowers' birthday celebration for the Greater Lord. A long, long time ago, on one of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata's birthdays, her friends threw her a celebratory banquet. Some of the gods got drunk. One started playing music, and the Greater Lord started singing, so the Goddess of Flowers began to dance. As she danced upon the grass, countless beautiful parisaras began to bloom wherever she stepped. Those brilliant purple flowers became her dazzling stage. All the gods clamored, "Oh, if only time could stop at this very moment." Of course they did. When people mention the gods, they always think of the Archon War. But Sumeru's gods also had happy times. Although they aren't around anymore, they're preserved in our tradition of dance. This outfit I'm wearing is apparently based on how the Goddess of Flowers looked. Though we're just tiny people compared to the Divine, we still have to do our best to make sure that the birthday girl feels loved on her special day.
Nilu, you of all people will definitely be able to convey our well wishes to the Dendro Archon. I also noticed that you went the extra mile and scattered parisaras around the stage.
They symbolize the Goddess of Flowers, after all. It's just a shame that all the real parisaras went extinct after her death.
Yeah. The Greater Lord brought forth parisaras in memory of the Goddess of Flowers, but she ultimately could never truly replicate that beautiful purple.
Thinking about the Goddess of Flowers dance makes me wish I could have seen it. If my stage were anything like that, I'd be thrilled if I had just two real parisaras on the stage. So, Traveler and Paimon, what do you think? Interested in the Sumeru festival? Will you two be coming?
All of Lesser Lord Kusanali's followers will be there for her birthday. It'll be a good opportunity for you to learn more about her.
Ooh, Paimon thinks that's a great idea! Of course Paimon wants to watch. Those two things aren't mutually exclusive, you know.
So how about we all attend the Sumeru festival together?
Dunyarzad, let me show you which stage decorations we've picked out so far. Traveler and Paimon, if that doesn't sound interesting to you, then feel free to explore the area. Everyone at the Grand Bazaar loves Lesser Lord Kusanali, and we're all looking forward to the Sumeru festival.
In that case, we'll take a look around. Whoa! What's with your yellow hair? And why do your clothes look so funny? Are you an outlander? Did you know that the Sumeru festival is about to happen? There'll be loads of fun things to do at the festival. But the best part is when Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, passes out candy to everyone.
I wonder if the treasures I discovered in my youth might have been left by Greater Lord Rukkhadevata.
Things are really shaping up, and there's a buzz around the festival this year. We're expecting people from all over to come by this year and buy things during the festivities. Don't be fooled into thinking that Sumeru City has the best of everything. Some festival snacks are only offered here in the Grand Bazaar. And when it comes to musicians, dancers, or singers, the Grand Bazaar's got the best of the best. Sure, those folks at the Academia might not like it, but what's a festival without song and dance?
My opinion, Shoots is the best stall in the whole bazaar.
Ah, dancing at the Sub-Zero's festival. You know, I also danced when I was younger. As a child, I even asked my grandmother why we performed the dance for the Lesser Lord when it was originally done to honor the Greater Lord. My grandmother said that Greater Lord Rukkhadevata is a beloved deity and honored by all. And Lesser Lord Kusanali is too. If the goddess of flowers ever knew Lesser Lord Kusanali, then she would certainly have wished to be her friend and hold celebrations for her too. The Sub-Zero's festival has been losing its appeal over the years. That is, until a wealthy benefactor stepped in this year and brought the festival back to life. I heard she forked out a lot of mora to make it all happen.
Huh. Revamping the stage for the festival couldn't have been easy, that's for sure. I bet this year's festival will be one to remember. I don't know much about the Grand Bazaar, but I do know that the residents here have a penchant for song and dance. Two things that the Academia doesn't particularly approve of. Oh, and the perfume sold around here is a lot better than what you'll find elsewhere. The fragrances are longer lasting and they're gentler on your skin and... I mean, that's what I've heard at least.
Is there no future for me?
In work as on the stage, one must act with...
Nilu, your outfit looks amazing. There's also something different about you from when we first met up.
I thought I'd add a little extra pizzazz to my dress for the festival. See?
Wow, did you sew all that yourself?
Uh-huh. Sewing is a fundamental skill for everyone in the theater company because we make all our own costumes. Did you know that Mr. Zubair not only can make costumes, but props too? I've noticed that you can't keep your eyes off that crown over there. Would you like to try it on?
May I?
Of course. The legends say that the goddess of flowers had beautiful horns on her head, so this crown was made to reflect that. Dunyazad, you look absolutely stunning with it on. It's like I'm looking at the goddess of flowers herself.
Hey! Is that who Paimon thinks it is? It looks like... Catherine! Huh. Come to think of it, Paimon's only ever seen her behind the counter at the Adventurers Guild. This is the first time we've ever seen her taking a break. Hey, Catherine!
Oh, hey! It's the Traveler and Paimon! What's shaken?
Whoa, break Catherine sure sounds a lot less formal than usual. Paimon was still waiting for her to say Ad Astra Abyssosque.
Sure. Standing behind the counter at the Adventurers Guild doesn't require any complicated functions. But saying and doing the same old things over and over again can get pretty monotonous. Like watching the same Fontaine movie day after day. But take you two, for example. You travel across Tevat to enrich your lives and gain new experiences.
Well, we enjoy traveling across Tevat and all that, but we're mainly looking for clues about her brother.
Yes, you should keep searching. Sometimes the answers we're looking for aren't necessarily at our intended destination. Instead, they're found along the way.
Huh. Haven't we heard someone say something pretty similar recently? Anyways, what brings you out here, Catherine?
No, not particularly. I guess you could say that I'm loving the recent atmosphere here. If festivals bring happiness to everyone, then that's where their true value lies. Oh, it looks like it's about time for me to be heading back now.
Alright, we'll see you next time at the Adventurers Guild. Oh, by the way, thanks for connecting us with the Eremites. We've already made some great friends in Sumeru City thanks to you.
I'm sure you two will get along well with the people here. You've already been blessed by the element of Dendro after all. See you around.
There's something really different about Catherine today.
Hey, traveler. Paimon.
Oh, hey, Dia. What's going on?
I've got something to tell ya. My lady knows you're looking for ways to meet Lesser Lord Kusanali, and she's been trying to come up with a way to help you. Well, I have an idea that might help.
Are you serious? We'd love that!
It might not necessarily pan out, so don't get your hopes up too much. I'll need to take you two somewhere and ask someone some questions. My lady is feeling a little worn out at the moment. Nilu's found a place for her to rest. After I take my lady home, let's meet in front of the Citadel of Regzar.
Sounds like a plan!
Can enjoy.
Let's head over to the Citadel of Regzar and wait for Dia!
We've got all kinds. Snezhnayan toys anyway.
Sorry, I'm late. It took some convincing for the master and mistress to believe that Miss Dunyarzad was only sitting in the port for a while because she was in a bad mood. Anyway, I guess I should be thanking you. I haven't seen Miss Dunyarzad that happy in a long time. If it wasn't for you two, she probably would have been caught and dragged back much earlier.
You sure sound a whole lot nicer than when we first met, Dia. Who would have thought you had such a soft spot for Dunyarzad?
It's called being a professional. I'm a bodyguard, and I work for whoever's paying.
Look, Dia's blushing.
Ugh, listen, you two. I don't expect to be working for Miss Dunyarzad very long, but I hope to finish things on a positive note if possible. Let's cut the chit-chat and head into the Citadel. We'll see if the person I know has a way for you two to meet with the Lesser Lord. Oh, hey, Chief.
Ha, Dia! What are you doing here? And well, didn't expect to see you three together.
I take it you all know each other already?
Mm-hmm. We met this morning after the Adventurers Guild pointed us to Osfon for more info.
No kidding. Huh. So, where's Ruksha? I thought I'd help these two out by asking about the theft. Anything you can tell him?
Rukshaw's gone over to the Academia. The Grand Sage recently ordered Sumeru City to begin bolstering its defenses, so people from all over have been called back to the city. Since you've already mentioned the theft, I suppose I might as well tell him what we know.
Appreciate it, Chief.
Theft? Sorry, what the heck are you guys talking about?
Just recently, the Academia lost something, and there's a chance the item is connected with the Dendro Archon. This case might just somehow help you in meeting her.
I suppose that's one way to look at it. But if you ask me, the case is more about the Academia than anything else. Let me fill you in. The Academia recently sent a convoy to pick up an important package from Aru village. Word got out, and the convoy was robbed on its way back. The Grand Sage took the whole matter very seriously. Not only did he dispatch the Matra, but also enlisted our help in the search for leads. All we know so far is that whatever was stolen is currently in Port Ormos.
You two have heard of Port Ormos, haven't you? It's the largest commercial port in all of Sumeru. You can travel there by leaving Sumeru City and heading south along the river. The Academia's grip isn't long enough to reach all the way to Port Ormos, so the city's a little more laid back, meaning the population's also a mixed bag. You never know.
Apparently what was lost has a great deal to do with the Akasha, knowledge, and even the gods. I'm afraid I don't have any other details for you, though. If you're interested, maybe you could head to Port Ormos and ask around yourselves. If you want my advice, try introducing yourselves as students of the Academia once you're there.
Are you serious, Chief? All the Academia students are in Sumeru City, you know. Why should they pretend to be students in Port Ormos?
If you're also interested, just go there and see what happens.
Count me out. I've got plenty of work to do here for the Homayani family. And take it from me, if you two really do decide to visit Port Ormos, you'd best watch your backs. Let's just say that the Eremites there aren't nearly as friendly as those here in Sumeru City. There are even some extremists who go around shouting slogans like, "Retake Sumeru for the Scarlet King." Word is that more and more are joining their movement. They're becoming a real headache for Chief and the others.
You bet they are. The Scarlet King's been dead for thousands of years. Now they start spreading rumors of his return. Ridiculous.
Not everyone's like you, Chief. Even the desert natives who abandon their homes in the wilderness still wish to have a god of their own. Well, Traveler, that's about all the information we have for you.
Thanks, Dia! And you too, Osfond! Since we've gathered all we could for the moment in Sumeru City, let's head to Port Ormos and see what we can find next.
Miss Dunyarzad is looking forward to seeing you both at the Sub-Zeru's festival, so be sure to get yourselves back here in time for that. Good. Then we'll see you both at the Sub-Zeru's festival.
Take them. I have no need. Illusion shattered!
No, my sword! Huh? Time to act. No, my sword! Witness the power. There is no escape.
Wait, what? I swear my mic was it muted this whole time? The fuck?
Come and have a good look yourself. Traditional spices of the highest quality, made with
Uh,
pride and experience.
well, okay, I'm gonna mute my mic. I'm gonna try to fix this, and I'll be right back.
You've got a deal. I can't thank you enough for always looking after my business.
Believe me, I'm not making this up. Several Eremite mercenary groups are nearly in open conflict, but does the core of 30 care? And that's not all. Did you know that...
Wow! Talk about hurly-burly! This place is busy! Oh, guess that's only to be expected for the largest port in Sumeru. Maybe it's because of what Dia told us earlier, but Paimon can't seem to shake the feeling that there's also danger lurking in these crowds. Ooh. Let's get our bearings so we can start looking for leads. We know that whatever the Academia lost is related to the gods. But other than that, we don't have much else to go on. Osfun told us to try posing as Academia students while asking around. Paimon checked the Akasha on the way here, and the Academia doesn't seem to have any research facilities in Port Ormos. Paimon doesn't get it. Won't we look even more suspicious going around saying we're Academia students and asking about the stolen item?
Hello? Can can you hear me? Yes? Okay. This is not the best way I would do this, but since my microphone is dying, I don't know how long I was muted. I apologize for that. Um if I was muted for a very long time. Um because I had no idea. I wish someone would have said something, but I don't know. So yes, you are going to hear some background noises, because these are headphones that are not, you know, noise canceling. I think it's only like for like what? It's just a little bit of it, like a little teensy weensy. But please let me know if I was muted this whole time. Like, okay, before I said anything, is what I meant. I know I was muted during the time this started, but from when I started streaming till now ish, was I muted? I need to know. Otherwise, I apologize for that, because I thought I had it unmuted. Unless it started when my headphones were beeping, meaning that it's about to die, so like battery's dying. Okay. I guess I can't do really anything. Okay. Right. We should figure out before doing anything else.
Well, given all the people that come through here every day, if there's any information to be found, Paimon bets we could find it in the market. Let's ask.
Shut up. So, yeah, I'm a little triggered at that. If I was muted this whole time. But I'm pretty sure you could hear, like, the whole dialogues and stuff like that. I didn't give a whole lot of input to that, so.
Welcome. Welcome. How can I help you too?
Hi there. We would like to ask you a question. Do students from the academia ever come to Port Ormos?
Of course. Especially around this time of year. Students from Sumeru City that are about to graduate often come to Port Ormos to cut loose a little.
Because if you were here this whole time in the stream, I'm just saying this now. Please give me a yes or no if I was muted during the whole session. I just want to know. Even if you are working, I really need some kind of input. But if you just came here watching, then don't bother. So
Many people often talk about how hard it is to get accepted into the academia, let alone graduate. But those who finish their studies and go on to become full-time researchers at the academia have it even harder. Sure, we may not be Sumeru City, but Port Ormos offers beautiful scenery and a stress-free environment. Some even say it's good luck to come to Port Ormos, so students and researchers come flocking here when things get to be too much at the academia. Ah, you see over there? Those are students from the academia.
They look pretty serious.
They've been looking worried and miserable ever since they got here a few days ago. If you ask me, the life of a merchant is better. So long as the Akasha teaches us what we need, then life is good.
Those students seem to be discussing something. Let's see if we can listen in.
Alright.
It's no good. I've tried asking around, but I haven't been able to learn anything useful. Not to mention that a bunch of scary-looking Eremite mercenaries have been posted along the streets now.
There's been a lot of fighting between the different Eremite factions in Port Ormos. If we choose to move on our own, then it would be wise to steer clear of them. Especially the group that's constantly shouting some stuff about the Scarlet King and some resurrection. I've even heard that the Citadel of Rexar is starting to get fed up with them. What was that group called again? Ein something or other?
They're called Ein el Ahmar. Today, I heard that the thing we're after might be in their possession at the moment.
Wait, come again?
Don't you see? Many of the Eremites in Port Ormos deal with trading this kind of thing. They're usually pretty wary of outsiders, but not so with students of the academia. It's because the kind of goods that students are looking for aren't the kind of goods that Eremites are after. I've heard that Ain al-Hakmar likes to set up shop at the Jafar Tavern. Supposedly, if you're willing to part with 500,000 mora, they'll give you info on anything.
Wait, did you say 500,000? If information alone costs that much, then how could we ever afford to buy what we're looking for? I guess we might as well give up on trying to graduate this way.
I wouldn't worry too much. Our field of research is very niche. Who else could possibly be after that kind of shady knowledge? I bet it's practically worthless to anyone aside from us.
Well, I guess that makes sense. Then the only thing left for us now is to find a way in. Why don't we all just pool our money together and pay for the information?
Whoa! Did you hear that? A niche field of research? And shady knowledge? It all sounds pretty suspicious to Paimon. Is knowledge something people just buy and sell like that?
Pretty sus.
So, what's your plan?
Let's try talking one into the Ermites.
Wait! Didn't you hear what they just said? Buying information is going to cost us 500,000 mora! Have you lost your mind?
Reliable information is worth the price.
Oh, alright. Paimon never thought she'd agree to parting with that kind of mora. But if you know what you're doing, then we should give it a shot.
I don't know if she would say anything about the tavern or whatever, so.
This is the place we heard those students talking about. Let's find a seat somewhere and see if we can spot the group they mentioned.
Alright.
Oh, you've arrived. Please, take a seat.
So, they think that they can go toe-to-toe with the boss? Ha! Once we reclaim the power of the Scarlet King, they'll be the first that the boss punishes.
They're nothing to be afraid of. Our main rival now is the Caracal Battalion. They've also amassed a significant amount of Mora this time, so we mustn't underestimate them.
How can the Caracal Battalion compete with the boss when they're nothing but a bunch of money-grubbing opportunists out for a quick Mora?
Yeah, with boss's fervent devotion, he'll be able to use this power to bring our god back this time.
Huh. All these guys talk about is the Scarlet King, so they're probably the ones we're looking for.
Greater Lord Ruka Devata. That traitor and her followers must not be spared. The day will come when the Scarlet King exacts vengeance on Sumeru, and all of them shall be punished.
What are they talking about?
Yeah, Paimon was wondering what they meant too. We should ask about that if we get the chance later.
How can there be Kyrene? Got it. Oh, so then what happened next?
Huh? Who are you? What do you want?
I'm a traveler.
A traveler?
Now's probably not the time to talk about that. Didn't the student say Eremites are wary of outsiders?
Oh, I'm a student,
A student? Huh. What's a student from Sumeru City doing in Port Ormos?
I'm looking for information on something.
Ah, well, if it's info you want, you've come to the right place. The question is, can you afford it?
Paimon can't stand to see so much more go. But there's no other choice right now.
Here, this is the merchant's address. Whatever you're looking for, you'll find it there. Hmm? Well, what are you waiting for?
Just one more question.
Oh, that's right. We heard you mention the Scarlet King just now. We're actually interested to know more because we're archaeology students.
Fine. Since you've already handed over the Mora, I guess I can throw in a little extra info. As you can see, members of Ain al-Ahmar are devout believers of the Scarlet King. Years ago, the Scarlet King founded the great desert nation that was our homeland. It was an advanced civilization, far beyond anything you'll see in present-day Sumeru. The Scarlet King was the rightful god of wisdom, but he was betrayed by a companion he trusted. She even stripped him of his title, God of Wisdom.
So, you mean the traitor was...
Greater Lord Ruka Devata, yes. That shameless wretch destroyed the Scarlet King's civilization, and our ancestors were forced to flee to this land where we were made to suffer the tyranny of our enemies. Furthermore, she conspired with the Academia to cover up the truth of her actions, and create the merciful and benevolent facade for which she is now known. Ugh, just thinking about it sickens me. But the story doesn't end there, oh no. The Scarlet King isn't truly dead. The voice of the Oracle has been heard in the desert, prophesying his resurrection. Mark my words, our god shall return. And when that day comes, all followers of the traitor and all the desert dwellers who have forgotten their true god will suffer retribution together. If what I'm saying makes you shiver with fear, it might not be too late for you to become a believer of the Scarlet King.
The Scarlet King is returning?
I don't have anything to say to you Academia people about that. I think this conversation has reached its end.
Not just yet. This man is a fraud.
Huh?
Who?
You again? Deranged Academia lunatic.
Yes, it's me again. I already warned you that if you weren't willing to sit and discuss things with me, I'd take measures to make things uncomfortable for you. Listen to me. That address he gave you is fake. Or at least, you won't find a merchant waiting for you there. This group has been boasting all around that they can provide information on a certain item as a means of luring people into their territory. Once you show up, they keep up the act until they have hard evidence that you want to purchase said item. Then they use that to squeeze you for all the more you're worth.
Hey! Shut it all, Hatham! What are you playing at, trying to ruin our business like this, hmm?
I told you the other day. I wish to discuss my terms with your boss.
Ha! The boss made it perfectly clear that he won't negotiate with you.
Yes, and in no uncertain terms. But that was then. It does not preclude him from changing his mind in the future.
I'm warning you. Don't push us, or this could get ugly. We don't usually get rough with people from the Academia because it just complicates things. For a lunatic like you, though, we might just have to make an exception.
If you're suggesting that we escalate this from a verbal exchange to a physical one, I accept. After all, even the Archons used war to negotiate the ownership of Teyvat. If, on the other hand, we can't agree on any means of negotiation at all, then I'm afraid my next course of action will sting a little more than the mere falling through of a few business deals. I will jeopardize the Eremite's reputation, which I know you value above all else. I am quite confident that if I began to take such action, your boss would willingly approach me himself. However, I fear that by then, some things will have happened that cannot be undone. Also, a word of advice. I suggest you tell your boss exactly what happened here today. Otherwise, he might blame you for not telling him in the future.
What did you say?
Consider this. Have I ever failed to follow through on my word in the past?
This guy is really out of his mind.
Okay then. If you really have a death wish, let's meet a week from today. The pier in front of the Pharos Lighthouse, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, sharp. Don't expect us to hold back.
Not so fast. First, you return the 500,000 Mora to them.
Hand it over.
Hm.
500,000 Mora. 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 500,000
Please, I beg you, don't provoke them. We can't afford any trouble with this crowd. They haven't even paid for their food yet.
Ah, Mr. Iman. There appears to be fewer staff in the restaurant recently. This wouldn't happen to be because they're all busy spreading the word to the students, would it?
Well...
Someone who chooses to do business with a group like that really can't afford to get so flustered the instant someone confronts them about it. Consider the meal compensation for our silence. I'd say you're getting an excellent deal.
Whoa, did you see that? He not only got us our Mora back, but sent the Amorites running too. Plus, he seems to know a lot about what's going on around here. Let's catch up with him and ask some questions. He went that way! After him!
Alright. I'm gonna catch this person. Not this wise man. Nothing else about his appearance.
What do you want?
Thank you for the help.
No need for thanks. My goal was to get to them, and you two gave me just the opportunity I needed. I advise you to keep your distance from them. Since they weren't able to make off with your Mora in the end, they might harass you again in the future. Alright. Goodbye.
Hold your horses! We still have something to ask you about! Since you tore through their scam right in front of them, you must know the real story about certain something, no?
Who exactly are you two? And why are you inquiring about that?
Student.
A student. Right. Look, you should know that those thugs conducting business with you had nothing to do with your lie.
Perhaps we could also talk terms.
Huh? Oh, yeah! She's really strong! Weren't you saying something about a physical exchange? We can help with that.
She doesn't even have a vision. Forget it.
Maybe not, but she can still use elemental energy. Otherwise, there's no way we'd go asking for info from from guys like that. Those hot-headed thugs are definitely gonna bring a lot of backup for your next meeting. Even if you don't go alone, you won't regret taking us with you.
Alright, I accept. Got a pen and paper? If you're searching for someone who sells that kind of merchandise, I'll give you one of their addresses, and you can try your luck. We'll reconvene at the appointed time by the pier. It doesn't matter if you show up or not.
So, since you were happy to give us this merchant's information, does that mean you can tell us exactly what we're after?
You were willing to part with 500,000 Mora for something and you didn't even know what it was? Okay. Well, if you truly are as skilled as you claim, then you can beat the answer out of them when they become hostile. Look, if you've been making inquiries, then you have to know something by now. Tell me what you know so far, so I don't waste time repeating information.
We know it's connected to the academia somehow, and that not only do the Eremites deal in it, but some students want to get a hold of it too. What else?
It seems like some kind of knowledge.
You know almost everything there is to know, but you're unable to compile this information because you've never seen the object before. This is what you've been looking for.
Oh?
Huh? Paimon can't tell what it is. It looks like some kind of ornament.
This is a knowledge capsule. To put it simply, it's a vessel that can store a fixed quantity of canned knowledge. It's like a miniature Akasha. Anyone who links it to their personal Akasha terminal instantly becomes privy to its contents.
Anyone?
Correct. Anyone. Unlike the Akasha, which heavily regulates who can access what information, knowledge capsules confer their contents without any requisites.
That's amazing.
It's essentially a convenient and harmless vestibule for knowledge. Unfortunately, It's illegal in Sumeru to privately possess or trade them. They were created as a means for scholars to transfer knowledge gained from Irminsul into the Akasha, and are intended to be destroyed immediately after use. But despite strict regulations, some of these knowledge capsules will always escape destruction. After all, there will always be those in this world who are dissatisfied with life as designed for them by the Akasha and wish to change their fate. Over the past century, a wide variety of canned knowledge has been leaked from the academia. Now, in Port Ormos, the valuable ones are a means to Mora for the Eremites. Meanwhile, those which the Eremites deem to be useless to them occasionally prove useful to the common citizens and hapless academia students. Well, I think that about sums it up.
It seems like it's a knowledge capsule.
Ah, so that's your true objective.
I want to learn more about it.
With our current arrangement, I don't believe I can offer an answer.
Perhaps we can negotiate later?
You're still resolved. Fine. Let's talk somewhere with fewer people.
Alright. We got business with this guy.
Let's continue our conversation here. If you wish to learn more about the knowledge capsule that the Academia lost, then you must help me with something.
What is it?
I need you to find someone named Dory, a traveling merchant.
Oh?
Unlike the peddlers who hawk inferior knowledge capsules, she often has quality goods in stock. Some say that as long as there is profit to be made, there is nothing she won't dare to sell. She's guarded against people from the Academia because most of her wares don't comply with Academia regulations. I think she blacklisted me. I met with her informant, but it soon became clear that they had no intention of letting me get any further. Become one of Dory's customers and earn her trust. This is my condition for further collaboration.
Why do you want us to meet with her?
Until you complete this task, you don't have question privileges.
Fine. So how do we go about doing this?
You two are outlanders who haven't been here for long, so Dory should view you as safe clients. I'll give you the informant's address and their contact password. Beyond the password, though, I have no way of knowing what other tricks she might have up her sleeve. You'll have to improvise.
This is kind of nerve-wracking.
The true challenge begins after you meet her. She has a keen nose for Mora and a shrewd eye for wares, and she only likes customers who she deems to have good taste. I'll prepare some funds for you. Buy her highest quality wares and earn her approval.
What? We only just saw a knowledge capsule for the first time. We don't know how to tell which ones are good and which ones are bad. Is that something we can learn quickly?
That's true. Have you two heard of elemental sight?
I can use it.
That's a surprise. Guess I'll have to hold you in higher regard. Anyway, that ability should resolve your issue. Here are 2 knowledge capsules. Tell me, can you detect any difference in their quality?
They look the same to Paimon.
Try inspecting them with elemental sight.
How'd it go? Did you see anything?
The one on the left is shinier.
Rumor has it that higher quality knowledge capsules generally appear brighter when viewed through elemental sight. That's because knowledge originates from Irminsul, the root of Dendro power itself. The more powerful the knowledge, the richer it is in Dendro energy. However, some canned knowledge with a high concentration of elemental energy is of little use in contemporary times, so using elemental sight is merely a stopgap measure, but it should suffice for earning Dory's trust.
That sounds pretty impressive.
Here's a sheet with the informant's location and contact password, and here is the Mora for purchasing canned knowledge. Don't be cheap. You'll need to spend to catch Dory's eye. If there's any Mora left over, just keep it. Oh, And be sure to exercise some caution. There have been Matra present in Port Ormos lately. Your efforts will be for naught if they catch you.
Matra?
They belong to the Academia's regulatory body. They also handle cases of illegal canned knowledge transactions. Like I said, the Academia has banned both their trade and possession. The Matra are razor sharp. You're in for nothing good if they lock their sights onto you. If you two want to back out, now's the time.
I'm willing to take it.
Okay, then we have a deal. If you succeed in your dealings with Dory, come find me at the Wikela Funduk. We'll have an open discussion then.
Funduk, or whatever.
Looking at what Al-Haytham wrote, Dory's informant is a traitor near Old Ormos. Let's follow these instructions and try to get in contact with him.
Alright, can we look at them? I think we can. Where would it be at? Looking for Dory. For buying Heartripe axe for informant to take to Dory. Where Morning Flower. Where Sumeru. Mouse. Rich Bull and Tiger. Mantra. Okay.
Inactivity serves no purpose whatsoever.
I guess we'll just have to see about this.
Hello. What are you two looking to buy?
Some unripe horror fruit.
What a unique palate. We have unripe horror fruits, but we usually keep them in the back. I'll have someone escort you.
Following the paper got us past the first round.
Roanoke, these two want to buy unripe horror fruits. Show them to the warehouse.
Got it. You two, please follow me.
I'm pretty sure if you choose the wrong one.
You two have a fascinating fashion sense. We haven't seen a customer wearing a Sumeru rose for quite some time.
Hold on. Let me think. Sumeru rose means common merch.
Ship deserves the best.
No, look again. We're obviously wearing morning flowers.
Ah, my mistake. I do apologize.
Whew. That pop quiz sure was scary.
Okay.
Ah, the warehouse is up ahead. Please follow me.
I'm trying to follow. Here, I'll just walk. Huh? What? This quest is involved with other quests. See detail. Appropriate carp. Oh. Alright, well, I guess we'll just do this real quick.
I think a creepy collie got into the cookie pot. Port Ormos is pretty great. There's so many new and interesting things, not to mention all the tasty food. Sumeru's largest commercial port students, and everyone seems excited just to be here.
Not everyone, I'm sure.
How did things end up like this?
All thanks to your artistic license. That's how. I should have made you wait until we got an update from Tanja.
But when I finished the prototype Aranara yesterday, you agreed that the kids would like it. That's why we tried bringing it out for a test run today.
Well, I never thought they'd dislike it so much.
Oh, what should we do?
There we go.
Whoa. Yeah. Compared to everyone else, they seem really down in the dumps. Let's go find out what's going on. Hey there! Paimon's name is Paimon, and she's a traveler who was just passing by. Is there something bothering you?
Oh, I noticed you two a moment ago. Welcome to Akara Crafts, the best toy store in Port Ormos. At least for now. What's bothering us is this prototype Aranara. To start with, could I get your opinion on it?
Prototype Aranara? You mean this wood carving here? It looks like a mushroom monster to Paimon.
It doesn't look very happy.
There we have it. The verdict is in. What a headache.
Not the first negative feedback we've had.
So, what exactly is a prototype Aranara?
So for context, Aranara are magical creatures in Sumeru fairy tales that live in the forest. For the store's 20th anniversary, we plan to release a series of hand-carved toys based on the Aranara stories that kids know and love. This is a prototype we made to get an idea of how they would react. But when we put it out there, the reaction was not quite what we'd anticipated.
They thought it looked like a mushroom too, huh?
No, worse than that, actually. I can't quite describe it, though. And I'm also not very good with kids. Maybe you could ask them for yourselves.
Okay.
This is not an Aranara. No way. I've read Uncle Tanja's Aranara and the Ill Little Fungus. It says that Aranara are supposed to be chubby and squishy. The carving looks nothing like that.
Toys do look better when they're round and chubby. Uncle Tonder said in Aranara's vow that you can deceive the eyes, but you can't deceive the heart. This carving makes me feel lost and confused inside. I don't think the creator put his heart into it at all. It's nothing like an Aranara. Ooh, didn't put his heart into it, huh? Oh, sounds like one of those things that's easier said than understood.
Cassid and Alia didn't like this carving, but I think it's okay. It doesn't look too happy, so it's kind of pitiful in a cute way.
Oh, a positive review!
Yeah, so I would totally ask my dad to get it for me, if it wasn't meant to be an Aranara.
Oh, well, that took a sudden turn for the worse. We asked the children for their opinions.
Oh, how did it go? Has it maybe, grown on them at all?
No.
Oh, this is such a shame. Why isn't Tondra back from Gandharvaville yet?
Oh, the kids kept mentioning an Uncle Tanger too. Who is he exactly?
Uncle Tanger is a famous children's author here in Port Ormos. He wrote quite a few stories in the past, but none of them were popular among children. Just like our prototype Aranara. But around a year or so ago, he suddenly had a eureka moment or something. And suddenly the children loved every one of his stories.
That's right. My little Ghaffari loves his stories too. The whole reason we decided to make these carvings was because we saw just how popular the Aranara are among children. We asked Tanja for guidance, but right after he agreed, he went off to Gandharvaville with his son to look for inspiration. They haven't returned yet. We were running out of time, so we had no choice but to carve an Aranara based on our own imaginations. As you can see, this was the result.
Oh, we have to do something. Hey, Since you're the famous traveler, could you do us a favor and look for Tondra in Gandharvaville? He doesn't have to come in person if he's too busy. Just ask him to write down his suggestions and bring his notes back to us, if you could.
Okay.
Please, if only to put a smile on the children's faces. And, of course, you'll be well compensated for doing us the favor.
They seem pretty desperate. Let's help them out. To see the kids smile. And also for our reward.
Yeah, for the kids.
Yep, let's do it.
Alright. Now, can we talk to him? Or not? Yeah, I'm getting that one. Okay. That job. Come back to that. We're here for the Dendro Archon stuff.
Before I retrieve your products, I need to confirm a few things. Please forgive me, but we may not have sufficient stock for you today. Earlier, many of our para fruits were taken by mice.
Congrats to you.
Thanks. If better goods come in, you'll be the first to know. You look like you have some skill. Why don't I pick out some fruits that'll make you dizzy?
For something that causes heat stroke.
No, that's not it.
Oh.
The paper said that heat stroke is the answer to erudition.
I'm sorry.
He's cautious of us. Let's take a closer look at the paper that Al-Haytham gave us.
Okay, let's take one more look, just in case. So when they So we said we're wearing morning flower, okay. And then we have to say that causes dizziness in the reading ears. Okay. The other option. Dizziness.
Before I retrieve your products, please forgive me, but we may not have sufficient stock for you today. Earlier, many of our para fruits were taken by mice.
Congrats.
Thanks. If better goods come in, you'll be the first to know. You look like you have some skill. Why don't I pick out some fruits that'll make you dizzy?
Tinnitus, please?
Yep, that's the right answer. But eating hara fruit that makes your head and ears ring sounds like a bad life decision.
Would you like your hara fruits to be packaged in the Sumeru City or Port Ormos style?
Port Ormos?
Wow, you two sure are generous customers. We'll be sure to package your products beautifully. Okay, everything has been confirmed. Miss Dory is waiting for you up at... Shoot, it's the Matra! Run!
What? The mantra? Where? Al-Haytham said we're done for if they catch us. We gotta get out of here.
Okay.
He ran that way!
Oh, that's why we had to do that. Hello. So what was the paper said about mantra? Wristbone tiger. Or something, I don't know.
Look, he's over there!
How high up are we doing this? Could have taken the waypoint or whatever.
Hey! If you're hiding from the Wristbone tiger, come this way! Another password! Huh? Oh, that voice came from behind the building on the right!
Here, over here. You can stop running now.
So you were the one who was calling out to us just now. But, are we definitely gonna be safe here?
These two good customers wish to buy some horror fruit, Miss Dory. And if there's nothing else, I'll just excuse myself.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Huh? Wait, you're Dory? Paimon sure thought you'd look a whole lot scarier.
Hey, what are you trying to say, Princess Pea-Brain? I can be scary enough when I need to be, believe you me. If you don't watch what you say, then you can forget about doing any business. But it seems you two have actually done pretty well so far. Not only did you manage to find the informant, your reactions were also pretty sharp. You don't really look like criminals or anything, but I bet my Mora that you've been involved in some shady dealings, haven't you?
Paimon's not sure if that's supposed to be a compliment, but we'll take it.
I can't risk doing business with people who start huffing and puffing after just a few paces. No matter how much Mora they might have. Not only will they get caught by the Matra, but they'll also get us into trouble. As decent folks trying to run an honest business. We don't need any of that. Wouldn't you agree? So that's why I prefer to have customers like you. It's your first time here, but don't worry, I won't ask too many questions. Even if you wish to buy enough knowledge capsules to decorate your house with, please, knock yourself out. As long as you have lots of round, shiny Mora, then we're all good.
Show us your products.
Ah, yes, of
Give me
course,
goods.
of course. Go ahead.
Show me the goods.
Yourselves. Voila!
Wow, she has a trove of canned knowledge. Whew. She'd probably be in serious trouble if the Matra caught her with all this.
What kind of products do you seek, my dear customers? Don't worry, I'm not interested in your reasons for buying. I can, however, offer some suggestions. Take this one, for example. An analysis of the sociological ideology and dialectics of the Hilichurls. Only 3 people in all of Teyvat have ever studied it, making it extremely rare. It's on sale now for 350,000 Mora.
Yeesh, who would want to be an expert in that topic?
Or how about the architectural styles and construction methods of Teyvat in the early Archon War period? With this one, you can become an expert in historic architecture preservation and find an excellent, well-paying job in nearly any nation.
Okay.
Ooh, now this sounds like it could be useful.
2 million Mora, and it's yours. No discounts.
Whoa, that's a lot of Mora!
Of course, you are free to pick whatever your heart's desire. The contents and price of each knowledge capsule are indicated in small text on the body of each one, down at the bottom.
Alright, let's try the method that Al-Haytham mentioned.
Take that one. And this one. And that
Ah, you've really got a good head on your shoulders and quite the eye for quality. I'll take these, please and thank you. My oh my, you are blessed with a taste for both the exquisite and the extravagant. Customers like you are a rare breed. 1 in 100. No, 1 in 1,000 even. Listen, I have a special offer for you two. If you spend just 100,000 more and more, you can pick any knowledge capsule of your choice up to a value of 1 million, Mora. Say what now? Hey, did you hear that? Spend another 100K and we get a capsule worth a whole million.
Calm down.
But all the canned knowledge we just bought is easily worth 500,000 Mora. If we spend just a little more, we can get something worth 1 million Mora. Isn't that a fantastic deal? Think about it. We've gone to all this trouble to get this canned knowledge. And so far, everything we bought belongs to all Hatham. Aren't you even the least bit curious about how this whole canned knowledge thing works? We're talking instant knowledge here. Don't you want to try it yourself?
You just want to see me try it.
Come on, come on. We still have around 100,000 of Al-Haytham's Mora left. So let's put it to good use by finding something useful for you. Ahem. You've got a deal, Dory. We'd like to spend an extra 100,000 Mora. Excellent. Then please, select from this fine collection of canned knowledge over here. Hold on a second. Paimon thought we could choose whatever we wanted. Why can't we choose the ones from over there? Oh, but my dear customer, the knowledge capsules over here are worth 1 million Mora each. I'm sure discerning customers like yourselves will be able to find something to your liking. Please, take your time. Uh-oh, Paimon has a bad feeling about this. Let's use Elemental Sight again to check these.
Alright, I'll have a look.
So, what did you see?
They all seem equally bright.
So, they're all worth about the same amount? Well, anyway, the Mora's already been spent, so let's at least try to find something useful. Let Paimon take a look here. An introduction to traditional Sumeru brewing techniques, the art of growing spices, an overview of ancient runes. Oh, how about this one? Sword Fighting Techniques 8. Not sure we'd ever find volumes 1 through 7, but at least this knowledge should be useful, right? Let's go with this one.
Fine.
Dory, we'll take this one. All right, very good. I'm expecting some new goods in the next couple days, so be sure to check back again soon. Whether it's canned knowledge or anything else you need, bring your Mora to Dory and doors will open. Our dealings with Dory went smoothly enough. Let's head to Wakala Funduk and meet up with Al-Haytham. Hopefully now he'll finally tell us about what the Academia lost.
Alright.
The thunder. Oh,
oops. It's an I don't know. I didn't know. Yeah, give her an amber state. Okay. I didn't know it would take that fall damage.
You two made it. And from the looks on your faces, you were successful.
Whoa.
I mean, I made one little mistake, but that's about it.
Why would you pick this place as our meetup spot?
Well, Wakela Funduk is under the Academia's control, so naturally the Academia has people working here. I came to Port Ormos under the pretense of conducting official business.
Hello, alcoholics. If you shoot her, you can get it for free. We're not gonna shoot people. We're not gonna kill people.
You're a pretty daring guy.
Relax. No one here is interested in anything we say, and the Matcher won't come here.
Okay, we did what you asked. So, can you tell us about the knowledge capsule that the Academia lost?
Before that, I have to ask. Why are you two so intent on tracking it down? You don't have to answer, of course.
We want to meet the Dendro Archon.
Yeah, she just wants to meet the God of Wisdom and ask her about something important. We've been in Sumeru for a while now, but we still haven't found a way. When we heard that the Academia had lost something that might be related to the gods, we came here in case it turned out to be our lucky break.
In that case, you're on the right track. A short while ago, the Academia lost a knowledge capsule in the desert. It's supposedly a divine knowledge capsule. Use it, and you'll gain the wisdom of the gods.
Wow! There's really such a thing as that? Hey, if we find it, do you think we could learn how to meet the Dendro Archon? Ooh, or even how to find your brother?
I highly doubt it has any mystical properties, but it does indeed exist. And it's right here, in Port Ormos.
So, where exactly?
That's what we need to find out next.
Your goal is to find it too.
I won't deny that. I am investigating because I'm curious as to what the divine knowledge capsule truly is. As you know, the Eremites in Port Ormos also have their eyes on it. It is an extremely precious item. The knowledge contained within may bring great power or wealth to whoever has it in their possession. Several brigades have been vying for ownership of it as of late, but there is still no victor.
Okay.
My personal finances and connections cannot compete with those of the Eremites. After attempting various methods, I finally managed to reach a tentative agreement with several brigades. I agreed to forego ownership of the divine knowledge capsule in exchange for the opportunity to study it. After all, there's no harm in understanding what it is. However, there are those who are less amenable to negotiation, such as those from Ain al-Ahmar. They adamantly believe that the divine knowledge capsule contains the Scarlet King's power, and that he will return to this world when they obtain it. They refuse to let anyone from the Academia tarnish their deity's soul.
So you kept hounding them because they refused to cooperate with you?
Yes. Ain al-Ahmar isn't exactly wealthy, but its members are determined to get that capsule by any means necessary. To that end, they've resorted to many methods more foul than fair in order to amass sufficient funds. So, I've been sabotaging their business to force them into negotiating with me. The Divine Knowledge Capsule should be up for a secret auction within the next few days. Each brigade will place their own bid, and the prize will be covertly given to the winner. To ensure the capsule's security and to evade the Matra's notice, the winning brigade will not publicly disclose their victory. Unless I know whose hands the Divine Knowledge Capsule ends up in, my agreements with them will fall through. Dory is the most reliable source of information, but that avenue was previously closed to me. With you on board now, the situation is different.
In other words, you wanted us to befriend Dory so you could find out where the Divine Knowledge Capsule is.
Yes, you can say that. But this arrangement harms none of us. The day after tomorrow, go back to Dory and try to purchase information on the Divine Knowledge Capsule's whereabouts. If she has no information, wait 2 days and approach her again. If I get the opportunity to study the Divine Knowledge Capsule, I will relay my findings to you. Will that suffice as compensation?
Thank you.
Okay. Then we'll meet up in 2 days.
Haytham, before you go, we actually bought a knowledge capsule for ourselves, but we're not sure how to use it.
You two want to try using a knowledge capsule? Sure, I can teach you. Doing so right under the Academia's nose is a bit problematic, though. What do you say we head to the outskirts of town?
Alright. Yeah, just kill the merchant and you get it for free. With a charge of murder fee and whatever. Because someone's gonna find you, I bet. You can't hide a murder like that. Get away with it. Also, we're not killing someone that looks like a freaking child, okay? Oh, why not? Because... just no.
Alright, this place works. Show me the capsule you purchased.
We need the recipes. Go to the one that brewing. Okay, I'll do that in a little bit.
Here.
Sword Fighting Techniques 8. Huh. A combat class knowledge capsule. This class is something of a rare find these days, since most have been taken by the Eremites to augment their battle capabilities.
Really? Aw, yeah, what a great buy!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
If you want to determine the efficacy of this capsule, I can evaluate your combat ability. However, effects will likely be minimal if you already possess a high amount of strength. We can conduct a controlled experiment where you fight 2 battles, one before using this knowledge capsule and one after. While you fight, we can use an Akasha terminal to monitor your various physical parameters. There may be variances in your physical strength between the 2 tests, as well as a disparity in your opponent's abilities. But don't worry. I'll run statistical analyses afterward to mitigate any confounding effects.
Wow! Haytham! You must have been one of those guys at the Academia who got top grades on everything. Paimon's curious about something, though. You definitely weren't one of those students who needed canned knowledge to graduate from the Academia, right? So, why are you risking getting caught by the mantra for this capsule?
Yeah, I'm curious.
When you are unable to understand a researcher's actions, most cases can be attributed to curiosity. This is but one theory.
Sounds like you're trying to avoid the question.
All right, let's begin the test. Just fight as you normally do.
Alright. Initiate first combat test. What? Do something.
Rain outlines your fate. Know my sword. Everybody stand back. Let's light it up. Off we go.
He's just watching us menacingly.
Illusion shattered. Let me weave you a birth.
Watch me.
Kaboom!
As a dutiful maid would, I must leave no stone unturned.
Oh. That was easy. Done.
All right. I'll link your Akasha terminal to record data.
feels like the knowledge capsule would be a fancy name for a book. Honestly, yeah, like at least like a novel. It's like the knowledge capsule. But then it's kind of like, I don't know, it also sounds like something that you could use another name for a dictionary.
The next step is to use this knowledge capsule. Hold it in your hand. I'll help you establish a connection with it so you can activate its power.
You got it, dude. Alright. Open your knowledge. Open your inventory. Use. As if I saw countless swords wielding figures fighting one moment, and in the next they all disappeared into a recess of my memory.
Hey, how are you feeling?
I felt something for a moment.
You mean that it worked?
All right, time for round 2. Fight with the same composure as before.
Alright.
Steady as stone. Yeah.
Let's light it up! Ha! Shine down! Teamwork is strength! Ha! Illusion shattered! Inazuma shines eternal!
Just one-shot them. Is there more? No. I just one-shot them. Boom. Done. I one-shotted them.
I'll start recording data again.
Oh, hey, Thumb. How's it going?
Well, the knowledge capsule you purchased did improve her combat capability. During the second fight, her overall fighting performance increased by 0.073%.
That doesn't seem like a lot.
Wait, how much?
You heard him.
Dory's such a jerk! She totally scammed us! 1 million mora? This thing isn't worth a tenth of that amount!
Of course, this could be because she is so powerful that the capsule's contents were unable to produce a substantial increase. At the very least, this test allowed me to gain more insight into you two. Our deal seems increasingly worth my investment. I'm heading back to Ikela Funduk. I await your response in 2 days' time. This is Mora for when you ask Dory for information. Pay her as much as she requests.
Wait until 2 days from now. Okay, let's first off get these. And then get recipes from here, yeah? Do we get recipes from here? Because I know I got some from the tavern yesterday. What are you selling? Spice. Interesting. Alright. Just have a look around here. Julie's shop owner. Hello, who are you? Are you...
Life is full of possibilities.
Carpenter. Let's see where we can get recipes. Recipe locations. Okay, looks like it's a vendor. At least I'll get the idea. Somewhere in the middle right there. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's this guy. I'm starving. What you got? Honey puri and curry shrimp. Actually, those sound pretty good. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's see. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's how you make that. Let's try one of these. Good. I don't want a sussy dish. Not right. Not today. Okay. What was the recipe that Kohai gave us? That doesn't look good. That doesn't look good. I'm just gonna be honest. It does not look good. I thought? Oh, there it is. Okay, well. Pita pick. Okay. Alright, is there any more? I know I got some from the tavern. From last time. So 2 days. What time? 7? Or what? Yeah. Ah. Almost right at the dot. Well, I guess you could get it from World Quest too, but I'm speaking like to buy the recipes.
Let's see Dory today and ask her about where the Divine Knowledge Capsule is.
Hey!
Here, over here! Oh, welcome back, my loyal patrons. What can I do for you this time? You name it. Canned knowledge, supplies, or anything else you need. I'll find a way to get it. Where there's a waterfall of Mora, there's a way.
Can you really get us anything we want? Anything at all?
Aha! So it appears that canned knowledge alone is no longer sufficient for your opulent appetite. Then please, oblige me. Tell me what you have in mind.
We'd like to buy some info of the divine knowledge.
Oh! I knew customers with pockets as deep as yours would undoubtedly crave something more profound than ordinary canned knowledge. But you know, that kind of information isn't going to be cheap. After all, I had to work really hard to weasel my way into the auction site. Not to mention that if anyone found out that I was the leaker, I would be in big, big trouble.
But how can we be sure your information is accurate? Paimon's curious how you just happen to have this kind of info the moment we need it.
Because to me, anything of value is what I consider to be my supply. Therefore, I must always be aware of what's hot on the market in order to secure more sales. As for the information's authenticity, well, you've no need to worry about that. I used a camera to take a picture of the transaction. That way, no one can dispute it.
Name your price.
It's always a pleasure doing business with such sterling patrons. Now that you've paid in full, here's the scoop. The Divine Knowledge Capsule was purchased yesterday by a certain Misery, the leader of Ain el-Ahmar.
Ain el-Ahmar? You mean the Eremites who worship the Scarlet King?
Ah, so you're already familiar with them. The group has done everything in their power to obtain the Divine Knowledge Capsule. After all, they believe it contains the power of the Scarlet King. That Divine Knowledge Capsule is unlike any other canned knowledge I've seen before. It was glowing bright red. The capsule is clearly visible in the picture I took. You can look for yourself.
Thanks for the info, Dory.
Please, it's my pleasure. It's all thanks to discerning customers such as yourselves that my efforts yesterday were not in vain. Please, don't hesitate to contact me if you ever need anything else in the future. Mora for Dory opens doors.
Well, we figured out where the Divine Knowledge Capsule is. It turns out it ended up in the hands of Ain el-Ahmar. Let's head back and talk to
Oh, my bad. Can we look at the picture? No, we can't. Okay. Alrighty. That way. Whee! I'm coming. I'm back.
Oh, hey, Thumb! We got the info you wanted.
Hey, you need food and water. Okay, you need. I mean, if you actually want to know recipes for beer, my dad actually makes some on his own. Yeah, it's a smelly product.
Really?
I
Alright.
tell you that.
Let's hear it.
It's in the Eins of the Eins al Armed.
Dory even gave us evidence to verify
The triple
the
A.
info. Have a look.
The triple A batteries.
Look at that. Clear as day. It must have taken some guts just to infiltrate the scene of the Eremites' transaction. But then to get close enough to take a picture like this. Bold move, Dory. Very bold move. All right. The person in this picture is indeed Misery, the leader of Ain al-Ahmar. And the glowing red capsule he's holding appears to be the Divine Knowledge capsule. In which case, if we play our cards right, when we confront them next week, we should be able to force them to show their hand.
At first, Paimon didn't get why you were provoking these Ain el-Ahmar guys. But now, it sort of makes sense. Everything's playing right into your hands. After we defeat them, we can finally have a serious talk with their boss and get them to lend us the Divine Knowledge capsule.
Thank you for your time and efforts. Take a few days off while I make some preparations. Let's meet up again on the afternoon of the arranged date, 3 o'clock sharp.
Alright.
See you then.
Oh, Haytham sure is taking his time. Where could he be?
It's right there!
There he is.
Paimon, are you fucking blind?
Sorry to keep you waiting. Let's head to the pier in front of Faros Lighthouse.
Yep, let's go.
She blind. I swear, she blind. We're gonna swim our way there. Fuck the boats. But yeah, my dad sometimes makes his homemade beer. I know he tried to make one for me for my birthdays when I turned 21, and honestly, I'm not even a big fan of alcohol itself, so.
Oh, Haytham. I knew you were crazy, but I didn't know you were crazy enough to actually show up.
Well, you said it, so, I mean.
It was I who demanded that these negotiations take place. I was more worried that you might go back on your promise. But to your credit, it appears that you're sticking to your word.
True that.
This is turning into quite an occasion. I also brought some backup. I assume you don't mind.
Backup? Aren't you the brat from the restaurant the other day? You've come to support this lunatic because he helped you out? Fine. Your funeral.
Police.
I'm not going to mince my words. Once we're done with you, you'll be nothing more than fish food. Get 'em, boys!
Uh-oh, here they come. Good luck, you two.
Fight them.
Rain outlines your fate. Know my sword. Witness.
Why are there more of you?
Everybody stand back. Rain outlines your fate.
My bad.
I must leave no stone unturned.
He just like basically try to. Whatever.
Shine down.
I don't know. He like jumped in it and it was like, you know, for that one move.
I'm going in.
Oh, okay. One shot.
Academia scum! Boss, finally! Did you use it? Great! Now we can... Boss?
That's not good.
Boss! Boss! What's
Oh my god.
What happened to him?
We have to cut his Akasha connection, now.
Oh, damn. Okay. Cut it. Oh, just like that? It's like, boop.
Arrest him!
Do not impede our work. Is that understood, Al-Haytham?
Of course. I was only trying to help.
Take him away!
Ooh, sneaky. Sneaky, sneaky.
World, forget me.
What in Tibet just happened? It's like that big guy suddenly lost his mind.
It looks like he used the Divine Knowledge Capsule.
You mean the Divine Knowledge Capsule did that to him?
Speaking of which, I forget how you pronounce her name.
Oh, yeah. You mean how some researchers go insane after getting knowledge from Irminsul?
I've heard of numerous incidents of researchers in Satyavada life going insane. The state that man is now in suggests that this is a similar situation. This Divine Knowledge Capsule does appear to be linked to the gods, but beyond that, it doesn't seem anything like the rumors suggest. Did you hear what he said? World, forget me. What could that possibly mean?
That's exactly what I heard before the missile.
If the mantra took him away, then that means the Academia got the Divine Knowledge Capsule back too. What a shame. We were so close. Still, Paimon didn't expect the Divine Knowledge Capsule would be so dangerous. Imagine if we tried to open it.
As things stand, there is no reason for me to remain in Port Ormos. I believe our collaboration has also reached its end.
Oh, we were so busy trying to find the Divine Knowledge Capsule that Paimon forgot to ask you something. Since you're a member of the Academia, do you have any idea how we can go about meeting Lesser Lord Kusanali?
Truthfully, I don't. Lesser Lord Kusanali appears to exist outside of Sumeru's entire administration. Most of the time, you wouldn't know she exists at all. Moreover, since the Academia possesses the Akasha, a symbol of our deity's wisdom, scholars have no reason to desire to make contact with the deity herself anyway.
Everything about Lesser Lord Kusanali is such a mystery.
I'm heading back to the Academia. How about you two?
It's almost the day of the Sumeru's festival. Maybe we should head back too. We've been rushed off our feet over the past few days, so maybe a little rest and relaxation will do us good.
Alright.
Then we'll part ways here, Al-Haytham, until we meet again.
I think I'm...
Now, do I deal with this thing first? Or should I produce the report that the higher-ups require?
Oh, that's Act 1, okay. Alright, give me one moment. I'm gonna see what's going on with my foot here.
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble!
That's enough work for today.
No one's joined me on an adventure in ages. Come on, let's go. Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
It's best if you...
Benny's Adventure Team, assemble!
That's enough work for today.
Or not. Let's go find some treasure.
How can some people be so gullible?
That's enough work for today.
Oh, ow! Where did that come from?
It's best if you don't stay.
That's enough work for today.
Alright, so apparently there was some blood on my foot. It must have been a scab that got
Good
picked
things
at
come
it.
to those who don't wait around. That's what they
And it just started bleeding, so
say anyway.
it's all good. It's nothing too big or whatever, so I don't know, should we continue with the second one? Too much knowledge. Too much knowledge does get you insane. Let's see. Well, looks like there's a domain here. Artifact domain over there. And then another... It's a talent one. Okay. Okay. Try to figure out what to do next. I mean, yeah, I guess we could try to do a little bit of our dailies first. Why not? Just give us a break from story time. That's all. There's also those world quests too, but commissions won't take that long. Too much knowledge makes you go freaky. Freaky, freaky. Alright. I only have like up to like what? an hour. Oh my god, time to call it good.
Spirit Blade, attack!
Don't blink.
So, we'll see.
Lay waste to the wicked!
Oh, great.
Cut to the chase. Speed of light.
Submit for judgment. One with my blade. Forth.
Incoming.
Lay waste to the wicked!
Yes, just on that one, one enemy. Okay. Yes, yes, we'll get over there as soon as possible. We're just taking a mini break from story time. Suppose we will hear... There's like, what, one more character that we need to be introduced to? And she's mainly for the second act, so I'm not heading towards Sumeru yet.
With sword comes shadow.
Spirit Blade, attack! Swift and
Lay waste to the wicked!
Done.
Don't blink.
Leave it all to me, as a good knight should.
And the last one. See, it's that easy. Easy. Hello? Oh my god. Experiencing something. It's a lag. Hold on. We good? Okay, we're good. I don't know what just happened there. I got some for you anyways. Yep.
Lord Barbarian. Barbados. Please see to it that Godwin gets home soon and safe.
How do you get onto his hands again? There. Where is she at again? Over here. I can't tell. And look at this.
Gets home soon and safe.
Add Thank you for. Add
Let's see. We only get 3 places. Alright, well, we don't really have any selected characters just yet, but let's see. We'll have I don't know. You're kidding me. Fine. Fine. Whatever. Let's do this. It's a phone character. Gives a flip. Alright. We're gonna check that out. I'm gonna check this, I guess, event out or whatever. I don't know why I took the longer way. Just don't ask me. Never mind, we'll get to you another day. Actually, it's around the same area.
I'll catch up.
We good.
So Tanger's supposed to be here in Gandharvaville looking for inspiration. But how do we find him? Should we yell his name at the top of our lungs?
Sounds like a bad idea.
Hey, buddy. What's your name? What are you doing here all alone? Do you live in Gandharvaville? Regardless, don't worry. As a trainee forest ranger, I'll do everything I can to help you.
Hi, Miss Forest Ranger. I'm Rozzy. Don't mind me. I know the way back to Gandharvaville.
When people say, don't mind me, what they really mean is don't worry about me. That's all the more reason not to leave you alone. Hey, don't cry. What's wrong? Take your time. You can tell me all about it.
Huh. That voice sounds familiar. Paimon's heard it somewhere before.
It's Kali.
Oh, it's Kali!
Kali, whatever.
A child who seems to be upset. Oh, let's go say hi. Hi, Kali. How have you been?
Paimon and Traveler. I've been doing pretty well. Thanks for asking. I'm helping Master Tainari patrol the forest. What brings you here?
We're here on an errand. We heard your voice, so we thought we'd come ask you for help. You seem kind of busy, though.
I'll be fine. You go help them first, Miss Forest Ranger. I'm okay, really. The sand got into my eyes, that's all.
What a well-mannered child.
You can't just leave him here.
Sand? There is not a lot of sand in a forest. You keep saying you're okay because you don't want us to know what you're upset about, right?
Maybe.
That's exactly why you have to get it off your chest. Here's a trick. If you're keeping a secret that bothers you, you can try telling it all to a tree hollow.
A tree hollow?
Yeah, a tree hollow. Do you know Tanja's stories? The Aranara living in the forest will patiently listen to every word children say. Maybe there really are Aranara living in the tree hollows that will listen to you.
You like the R&R stories too?
Of course. I love them.
Oh, people who like R&R are the best. Okay, I'll try telling my secret to a tree hollow. Thanks, Miss Forest.
Aw, you're just exaggerating. Anyway, I'm trying to be like my friend, who always does her best to cheer people up when they seem sad. So, how are you doing? Feeling any better now? The forest is very dangerous, so how about we stick together?
Sure.
Wow, Kali's so good with kids.
You can always trust the rangers.
Well, helping children who are lost in the rainforest is all part of a forest ranger's duty. So, what was it you wanted help with? You're not lost too, are you?
No. Here's the situation. I actually have no idea.
So, you're looking for a children's author from Port Olmos called
Yeah, that guy.
Tanja.
My bad.
And he's here in Gandharvaville. I'm looking... wait. When you say Tanja, do you mean the Tanja?
That's right, Uncle Tanger.
So he's in the area? Looking for inspiration for a new story as we speak? This is amazing. Could you wait for me for a second? I'll run Rozzy back to Gandharvaville and then I'll be right back. I've always been curious what the man behind those incredible stories is like in person.
Maybe he's from a wealthy family?
Tanja's just a normal guy.
Even so, he must be more creative than most people. Wait, hold on. Rozzy, do you mean you've met Tanja before?
Mm-hmm. He's my dad.
Okay.
Your dad? Tanger's your dad? As in you're Tanger's son?
I'm pretty sure that's what it means, Paimon.
Uh-huh.
Ah, Paimon sees. That guy had a car brought his son along with him, so he meant Rozzy. Why are you here on your own, though? Did you and Tanja get separated?
We had an argument. I was upset, so I ran off here by myself.
Oh, in that case, we should take you back to Gandaverville first. Then we'll look for your dad and tell him where you are.
No, I'm good. Thanks for your advice, Kale. I'm not so upset anymore. Come with me. I'll take you to him.
Yay! Thanks, Rozzy! Paimon thought we'd be spending the whole day looking for him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I can't believe I'm actually gonna meet Tanja!
Oh.
Hey!
So Tanja headed this way. I know this place pretty well. Follow me.
Well, once you look at that, we finally got Kale. Let's see. Look at her, she'd be so cute. Yeah, I don't have no other things to let her ascend. I think it was Warbow for her. We'll put Amber on this one then, I guess.
You seem tired.
Oh, she's so cute. She's right next to Amber, which is more cute. So adorable. It's like a little kitty cat.
Would you like some tea? I'll brew you some. Do you take sugar? 1 cube or 2?
Do we still get the award, or? I mean, it's exquisite Abra. I don't know. Now I'm a little contemplated on finishing part 2 or not. Well, I guess since we're on this quest, I guess we can go over there. I don't think it's too far out of the way. Still, though.
Someone needs assistance.
I guess we'll just kind of finish this one up.
Rozzy! Where are you, Rozzy?
Someone's calling for Razio.
Shut up.
Oh, Rozzy! Thank goodness I finally found you. What would I do without you, my son? Were you in danger? Did the wild beast scare you? Did the stars guide your way?
I'm okay. All thanks to their help.
Thank you. Thank you all. I dare say that even the most cold-hearted Spino crocodile would be moved to tears by your kindness.
The what?
Oh, it's nothing.
Spinal
it's all part of my
crocodile.
responsibility as a trainee forest ranger. I'm the one who should thank you for creating so many wonderful stories for the children of Sumeru. I love them too.
Really? I didn't know anyone read my stories apart from young children. That must mean you're still in touch with your inner child. Okay, then. I have the inspiration for my next story. It shall be about an Aranara granny who's a child at heart.
Huh? It's an honor to become the source of your inspiration.
Okay.
Oh, Kale looks like she's about to pass out. Hey Kale, are you okay? I'm okay. Sorry, I just got a little too excited.
Are you two story lovers as well? Yes, yes! The moment I saw you, the image of an Aura giant and an Aura finch traveling together popped into my mind.
We've just been tasked to seek your help.
Oh? Who asked for my help? My sincerest apologies, but I have fans all over Sumeru. Trying to remember every last one is like trying to identify each grain of sand in the desert.
Seems like Tanja has a slightly exaggerated view of what it means to be a children's author. Also, Paimon's not a finch. That's nothing to get excited about.
Let's put the jokes aside and get down to business, okay? So here's the deal.
Akara Crafts. Akara Crafts. Oh! Oh, right. I remember now. That small boat once sailed into the sea of my memory, but before long it floated away over the horizon, never to be seen again. Perhaps for the best. After all, a wild tempest was a-raging in Tangier Harbor.
What? Paimon has no idea what he's saying.
I don't know.
What should we do? Do you think we should get Tainari to take a look at him?
I think he's just, spatting out nonsense like Fischl does.
Dad's saying he forgot about helping the people at Akara Crafts learn more about Aranara because right now he has something more important to do.
Oh, that's what he meant. Well, there it is. All the proof you needed that this kid is definitely Tanger's son. Wait, no, this isn't the time for all that. Tanger, your help is pretty vital to the toy makers. You gotta do something.
But the garden that blooms before my eyes is of greater importance. For therein lies the beautiful Patisara that all the children of Sumeru dream of. I, Tanger, have found evidence of Aranara activity right here in the Avidia Forest, conclusively proving that Aranara not only exist in stories, but in real life too. If I manage to document the first real-life Aranara sighting, the petty problems that perplex Akara Crafts will be untangled in no time. Meanwhile, I may well be able to leverage this to assume leadership of the Academia. Then all across Sumeru will know of the great Tanger living in humble Port Ormos.
I haven't written any papers myself, but I think you need to have a bunch of them approved by the review board before entering the Academia. You also need a detailed and objective experiment record. Anyway, Tanja, what did you mean by evidence of R&R activity?
The hook's what's important in a story. The great storyteller Tanger never gives his audience the bait right away. Come with me.
Okay.
Wait, not that way. Kale, what's wrong? Nothing, but that way leads us deeper into the Avidia Forest. I'm just concerned for Tanja's safety. And I think I'm starting to understand why Razi and Tanja were fighting.
Maybe there's something else going on.
Just as I expected, the promise of one of my stories has kept you hot on my heels.
But this is just an ordinary tree hollow. Paimon's not seeing any evidence of Aranara.
You can deceive the eyes, but you can't deceive the heart. Look with your heart and you too will understand.
Paimon's not sure what look with your heart means. But anyway, let's start by investigating the area around this tree hollow.
Alright.
Hey, look! There's a note here. Could this be the evidence that Tanja was talking about? The handwriting's so hard to read. It's too hard. I can't remember the names of all these mushrooms. Do R&R need to learn about mushroom classification? Here's another note that says, "This tree hollow is my castle." That sounds more like something an R&R from the stories would say.
You sure about that?
There's another one here. If only I were a clever Aranara. A clever Aranara. Is the emphasis on clever or Aranara?
Alright, we're gonna try to somewhat finish this. And then we'll start with, you know.
How does it feel to bear
Part
witness
two.
to a groundbreaking discovery? Exciting, isn't it?
Groundbreaking?
The crude handwriting may look like a child's, but don't forget, we're in the middle of a rainforest. I doubt that a child would be able to reach this deep into the forest, and I doubt even more that they would think of this lowly tree hollow as some sort of impenetrable castle. I boldly hypothesize that this tree hollow is in fact the Aranara's academia. The notes we saw were written by the Aranara themselves. There is no doubt in my mind about that. An Aranara that wasn't so bright left a note here wishing to become a clever Aranara. Oh, I shall craft a new story for them and call it The Aranara in the Tree Hollow. How's that? Don't the very words just conjure up images of Aranara in your mind's eye?
Nope.
No.
Well, many an adventurer knows how to take to the skies with their easily visible wind gliders, yet they do not possess the invisible wings of imagination, making it hard for them to keep up with my train of thought. How about you, Miss Forest Ranger? Do you soar into the atmosphere on the wings of imagination?
Huh? Me? I don't know. Maybe I do, but maybe not. Anyway, it has nothing to do with me, so...
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just that witnessing Tanja's creative process is a little...
Overwhelming.
Oh, yes. Yes. Overwhelming.
For now, I've decided to stay here with Razi until we witness the legendary moment when the Aranara appear in this hollow. Don't worry, I won't let the Akara Crafts Toymakers down. When a real Aranara appears, their little troubles will be resolved in an instant.
He seems pretty stubborn. Looks like we'll have to stay here and wait a little longer. No, I think we should return to our camp first. Tanja, in Aranara and the Three Little Fungus, it says that Aranara are very sensitive creatures. I don't think they'll show up if we stay here.
Oh? Was that in the story? Ah, yes, I remember now. Miss Forest Ranger, you sure know your stuff. In that case, let's go back to camp and call it a day. We'll continue our search for evidence first thing in the morning.
It's at night, but okay. I'm gonna stop there for now, and we'll continue that another day. I want to get back to part 2 here.
We didn't miss the Sumeru's festival, right? Let's hurry.
Just as promised, Traveler and Paimon. I'm so glad that you two came back to celebrate Lesser Lord Kusanali's birthday.
We made it back in time.
Indeed. The festival's tomorrow. We've been preparing for so long that I can't help but feel a little nervous.
There's no need to be nervous. Paimon's sure that Lesser Lord Kusanali will feel everyone's gratitude.
Thanks, Paimon. I hope that everyone who comes to the festival will also have a good time. Speaking of which, did you manage to make your way to Port Ormos? Discover anything over there?
Of course we went. A lot of things happened there.
Instead, we're left with more questions.
I see. Sounds like you two had another exciting adventure. If there is another chance, I would love to join.
My lady, if you went to Port Ormos in your current state, we'd both be in for a lifetime of trouble.
Dia! You were eavesdropping!
It's called covert protection. Keeping an ear out for what's going on around my employer is part of the job.
It's alright, Dia. I merely said I would like to go. I know better than to think my body could handle it. The festival's tomorrow. I've been doing nothing but causing trouble for you. So Dia, please take some time to relax. I'll be fine.
Even when you put it that way, it still doesn't feel right.
Don't worry, my guardian knight.
Okay, fine, but only tonight. Tomorrow's a big day, and many no-good scumbags are gonna try to take advantage of that.
Oh, you two must be exhausted from your long journey back to the city. My apologies for not realizing this sooner. I've already prepared a room for you to rest. Please follow me.
Whoa, you're so thoughtful. Paimon's so ready.
Part 2. I guess they don't buy things, it's just someone to talk to, I guess. Okay.
What's so great about staying? Welcome.
I'll catch up.
Ooh, what's this?
Here we are. It's also fairly close to where I've been staying.
It looks really nice.
Sorry for the trouble.
Not at all. Just tell me more about your adventures when you next get the chance.
That's Paimon's specialty. Paimon can tell you stories next time.
Plans for tomorrow.
Oh, if you don't mind, how about we all walk around together tomorrow? All of my friends will be working the festival, and Dia is still insisting on her covert protection.
Yeah. It'll be pretty hard to relax and enjoy the festival if Dia's constantly hovering over you, right?
I'll keep you company.
Then let's meet at the nearby bazaar first thing tomorrow morning. Have a great night.
Okay.
It's a deal. Good night, Dunyarzak.
I may be too excited to fall asleep tonight. See you tomorrow.
Paimon's starting to really look forward to the Sumeru festival too. Will there be lots of yummy food? Oh no. Thinking about food is just gonna keep Paimon up all night. The earlier we sleep, the better. Let's go inside, traveler. Did we oversleep? We should go meet Dunyarzad right away.
gonna use that. Okay.
Traveler, Paimon, I've been waiting for you two.
Good morning, Dunyarzad. We must have overslept a little bit.
Not at all. I arrived early. Today is finally here. I must cherish every moment as if it were gold.
You've worked so hard for this day. You gotta enjoy it to the fullest.
You know it. It's just that, as expected, I had some trouble falling asleep last night. I'm hoping my body won't be too much of an issue today. Well, shall we? Let's start with the stalls over there. Many vendors came out of the blue to support the event, and they insisted on covering costs themselves. Let's go give them some business.
They paid for everything out of pocket? Oh, sounds like they're not in this just for the Mora.
They all said that contributing to a lively festival atmosphere is more important than money. Especially since we don't often get to celebrate Lesser Lord Kusanali's birthday.
Ooh, they're selling food over that way! Let's go take a look!
This is a stall offering foods from the Haftmewa feast.
Oh, you could tell straight away. I thought most people nowadays wouldn't know.
Mushrooms, flowers, and all kind of fruit? It's all vegetarian stuff. Aw, Paimon's a little disappointed.
Really?
So, what's the Haftmewa feast you mentioned just now?
It's another Sub-Zero's festival tradition. People used to set their tables with 7 different foods. Generally speaking, the most common selections were foods like Rukushifa mushrooms, lunar lotuses, Sumeru roses, sunsetias, kapulatas, hara fruits, and zaytun peaches.
So, the Sub-Zero festival is a vegetarian holiday?
You don't have to be a vegetarian to enjoy the spread. We just use the 7 foods to symbolize the 7 virtues of the Dendro Archon.
Wait, but if that's the case, if Sumeru uses vegetarian food to represent the Dendro Archon, then wouldn't the Pyro Archon's festival be full of food like roasted fowl, juicy meatballs, grilled steak? Oh, Traveler, we have to go to Natlan as soon as possible!
Yeah, right.
I hope your wish comes true one day, Paimon.
Thanks! Alright,
Take a
how about
couple
we also
years
check
for
out
that
some of
one.
these other stalls?
Dear customers, would you like to try your hand at alchemical divination?
What's alchemical divination? Those two things sound like they'd be fun to try together.
Right? I thought the same when I first heard about it. It is said to be a mysterious craft invented by none other than Lesser Lord Kusanali herself.
So, how does it work?
It's quite simple. After you give me any 2 alchemical reagents, I'll use them to perform a random transmutation.
Sure sounds random. So random that it will probably fail.
That is precisely what we need. After the transmutation fails, your one and only diviner here will interpret the remnants.
Okay.
Well, according to Lesser Lord Kusanali, everything is interconnected, and all that occurs can be traced back to fate. You could say this is a pearl of old wisdom.
Why does everything sound so much more credible when Dunyarzad says it? Are you guys working together?
So that's the true wisdom behind it. This young lady sure knows her stuff. So, how about it? Want to give it a try?
Sure. Alrighty, let's see what we got. Let's try. this. And this. I don't know.
Okay, one moment. It's the moon.
Paimon wants to take a look too. Is it? It looks more like a pie that Paimon bit into.
Generally speaking, the moon signifies... It means... Wait a moment.
Is he really looking it up in a book?
Oh, I remember now. It means illusions and lies.
Illusions and lies? That sounds rather ominous.
Yes, but this book says that if you trust your intuition and overcome your fears, the sun will surely rise.
He's not even trying to hide his book anymore.
Naturally, fate will only ever show you the beginning of a journey. It is up to you to forge your own ending. Oh, thank you so much. I'll keep that in mind.
Oh, it's nothing. I'm just learning as I go.
Guess that was still pretty interesting. Okay, on to the next stall.
Yep.
They say the Sub-Zerus festival was very lively a long time ago. Large flower carriages used to parade through the city. As they headed towards Port Ormos, people would throw flowers, candy, and liquor all along the way.
Dunyarzad's eyes are sparkling right now.
I wish I could have seen that spectacle. But if you ask me, I'm sure Nilu's Dance of Sub-Zerus will be just as impressive.
I don't know where we're going, so...
Attention! Soldiers, fall into formation if you want any Yalda candies.
It's a weird guy with a weird hat.
Hey, it's Dunyarzad!
Miss Dunyarzad, the children love you even more than the Yalda candies. In the few short days it took to prepare for the Sub-Zerus festival, the children have all grown very fond of you.
The Hallowed Knight of Flowers. It's an honor that you know my name.
Attention! In the name of Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, I commend you on your contributions to the glorious Sub-Zerus festival. All right, little soldiers, take your Yalda candies and don't forget your loyalty to Lesser Lord Kusanali. Dismissed!
Yes, Knight Ferris!
Just what is going on here?
Ferris, the Knight of Flowers, is another Sub-Zerus festival icon, and one immensely popular with children. In the past, the actor portraying Ferris would also sit on a flower carriage.
It's all thanks to Miss Dunyarzad's sponsorship that the children can make such wonderful memories today.
As are we to you, Vihar.
Oh, not at all. Oh, speaking of tradition, do you want some Yalda candies? They're a festival staple, and I happen to have some boxes readied here. Take a look and pick whichever one you want.
Whichever one? Don't these boxes all look the same?
That is the fun part. Each box contains a random flavor. It's up to the luck of the draw. Flavors include lavender melon, hara fruit, sunsetia.
Ooh, those all sound pretty good.
And there's also lizard tail and oni kabuto.
Huh? What's up with those two flavors?
Oni kabuto is a little spicier than lizard tail.
Dunyarzad, you tried them before? Traveler, help Paimon pick one. Paimon wants the sunsetia flavor.
Well, don't blame me if I choose the wrong
It's
one.
alright. Paimon believes in you.
I also believe in your intuition.
Great! These boxes of candy are numbered 1 to 5 from left to right. Which one do you want?
I take number... 2. Wait, no. No. See what number 4 is? No. Number 1. Okay. That looks different from the others. I mean, it's blue.
Attention! That's unfortunately Lizard Tail.
Oh, Paimon thought you survived so many epic battles because you had incredible luck. But looks like Paimon was wrong.
Well, what you...
The Sunsetia flavored candy was in box number 4. How about this? The most important thing is that everyone has a good time at the festival. So please, take both boxes.
Okay.
Really? Thanks a lot, Knight of Candies.
It's Night of Flowers, not Night of Candies.
Well, whatever.
Paimon really wilted the carriageless Knight of Flowers.
They all basically sound the same. We got our candy, so let's keep going.
Oh, actually, I just remembered that I left something behind. Since you're here, can you come with me to get it?
Sure.
Dunyarzad, you probably forgot because you're so excited about the Sub-Zero's festival.
How embarrassing.
We're too late. Who knew the little lady was such an early riser?
Uh-oh.
I know, right? Hey, wait a minute. Boss, isn't that her?
Oh, that most certainly is. We're in luck. She's walking right into our clutches.
Those Eremites don't look like they're up to any good.
Who are you? I don't believe the Homayanis hired you.
That's right. We haven't received any of their mora, but I wonder how much the Homayanis would shell out to get you back.
They're a gang of kidnappers! Traveler, hurry and protect Dunyarzad!
We'll be fine.
Hey, did you scumbags even consider that the Homayanis might have hired a merc that outclasses you?
You're... Dia! Dia the Flame Mane! No wonder we mercs haven't heard anything about you for so long. You sold your unruly mane to the highest bidder.
Don't speak so disrespectfully. My family started working with her as gratitude for her past kindness to us.
Don't worry about it, my lady. Just some friendly banter between mercs. One punch and those rabid dogs will expose themselves for what they really are.
Aren't your claws all dull by now? Don't get too cocky!
Traveler, take Miss Dunyarzad to a safe location.
No, we're gonna stay and help. There's too many of them.
We can't guarantee everyone's safety.
You're right. All right, fine.
Please be careful, Dia.
Don't waste your time worrying about me. This is my job. Look out for yourself. After I've wiped the floor with them, I'll go find you all.
Teleport somewhere. Fine. Okay. I guess we didn't have to use it, whatever.
Dunyarzad, are you okay? You look a little pale. Are you in shock?
Yeah, I'm fine. My body always reacts like this whenever I exert myself too much.
You sure you're okay?
I'll be fine after some rest. I'm more worried about Dia. After all, none of this would have happened if I hadn't insisted on coming out today.
She's a girl boss. She'd be fine.
Yeah, don't worry.
Hmm?
My lady, traveler, found ya.
Dia! You took care of them so fast!
What was with those camera angles?
Any more of them? Or rather, did anyone follow you?
No. Just check.
Dia, your arm.
Oh, this? I'm fine. It's just a scratch. Normally, they wouldn't have been able to land a hit on me at all, but I'm still getting used to this new greatsword.
Please, let me take a closer look.
Come on, it's nothing. Us mercs aren't as fragile as you think.
Hold on, you said something about a new greatsword. What happened to the one you were using before?
About that. Well, I sold it, because I was low on Mora. Stuff like this happens every now and then.
It can't be. The anonymous donation that was used for the venue's final round of preparations?
Hey, Miss Dunyarzad, I wasn't trying to make you cry, and I'm not gonna lose my commission because I made my employer cry, am I?
Okay, making your employer cry won't affect your commission, but selling your weapon without permission and getting hurt? I'll have to reevaluate your performance.
You're so unreasonable, my lady.
Thank you very much, Dia.
Don't be like that. I get embarrassed really easily.
Are you feeling unwell again, Dunyarzad?
My lady, your condition. Traveler, can you take her somewhere to rest? I'll look around the area to make sure we're safe from an ambush.
Yeah.
Truly. I'm sorry for the trouble, everyone.
Are you feeling better, Dunyarzad?
Yes, much better. Just give me a few moments and I'll be good to go.
How serious is this?
I didn't realize you were concerned about it. I guess I shouldn't continue to keep it a secret. I was actually born with Elazar. It's terminal now.
Elazar?
Can't believe it's Elazar!
Oh, you've already heard of Elazar. In that case, you probably know about its severity. Sumeru's current medical advancements still haven't been able to find a cure. The disease's progression can only be delayed through environmental therapy.
Dunyarzad.
There's no need to be sad. I've always lived with Elazar and I came to terms with it a long time ago. Compared to the simple fact that I'm afflicted with this, its effects on my life have been much more painful. I know that my family loves me dearly. They've done all they can to provide the best environment for me so that I can live for that much longer. However, I know I will one day succumb to this. Did you know? Before I ran away from home this time, the world outside of my home didn't even know that I existed. Since I was a child, all I could do was sit on my bed and stare at everything outside of my window. I'm sure my family's worried and disappointed in me for running away, but I just didn't want to have any regrets. I wanted to meet other people. To me, there's nothing more beautiful than being able to meet and speak with others. Not to mention the incredible time spent preparing for the festival. The joy on everyone's faces here, and all the support I've received from friends like Dia. This way, when my final day does arrive, it will be less sorrowful. At the very least, many people will remember that I once existed in this world, right?
I'll remember you.
As long as you don't forget Paimon, Paimon also won't forget about you. No, even if you forget Paimon, Paimon will still remember you.
Thank you two so much. I apologize for the depressing conversation. This is out of character for me. To be honest, Lesser Lord Kusanali gave me the courage to do all of this. If it weren't for her encouragement, I wouldn't have taken that first step.
But you're already strong. So you can't give up.
Thanks. There will always be frustrations in life, but I know that the point of living is not to leave behind any regrets.
Right.
Oh, right. Isn't it almost time?
Huh? Almost time for what?
You forgot?
Isn't the Dance of Sub-Zeros about to begin? It's the part of the festival that I've been looking forward to the most. Nilu will recreate that legendary scene with her most splendid dancing. And the Sub-Zeros festival will conclude amid everyone's applause and blessings. And with that, my wish will also...
Then what are we waiting for? Let's go to the stage!
Yeah, we should still make it in time.
Alrighty,
Were you not aware that the law prohibits this type of performance from taking place without prior permission?
Over there! Someone's yelling at Nilu!
I think I just saw the Academia's Grand Sage. Why is he here in person?
But the Dance of Sub-Zeros is one of the key parts of the Sub-Zeros festival. If we can't perform it...
The Sub-Zeros Festival. The law also prohibits the private hosting of large-scale religious festivals. Only the Academia can host such an event. If you continue to resist, we will have to order an investigation into every single event organizer. The Grand Sage has already granted you much leniency. I advise that you exercise tact.
How did things turn out like this?
The Academia was originally responsible for the Sub-Zeros festival, but they failed this responsibility for many years. I need to speak with them.
Don't go.
This is a hard pill to swallow, but you're right. Things would only get worse.
Art, dance. Aren't you ashamed of pursuing such frivolous and meaningless activities in this land of knowledge and reason? Our Archon created the utopia that is Sumeru City for all scholars who sought validity, verity, and truth, while people like you wish to defile it.
No. I believe that our Archon never rejected the arts. Even the goddess of flowers dedicated a dance to her.
With your lack of intellectual credentials, I do not believe you are qualified to debate with me. What you should be doing is finding workers to tear down this ridiculous eyesore.
Damn.
When we return, have the scribe draft an ordinance before the next Nyagarbha Day that prohibits public art performances. We will announce it to the public later via the Akasha.
What a dick.
Understood. I will inform him when I return.
The Sub-Zeros Festival. Go celebrate the birth of that god to your heart's content.
Nilu, are you okay?
Oh, Dunyarzad. You all saw that just now? The Grand Sage ordered us to stop the performance.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere the Academia can't find us and perform there. But how do we let everyone know? And what about the atmosphere on the stage? Or we could get people to block them off so they can't interrupt the performance. No. They just threatened to investigate the organizers. If we were caught...
Nilu, it's all right. Don't worry about it.
But you've been looking forward to the Dance of Sub-Zeros so much. And I know how important this festival is to you.
It's okay. Seeing you care this much about my feelings is more than enough. It would be too risky to continue the Sub-Zeros festival at this point. I don't want to get everyone in trouble.
If you say so. But you can sneak out for the next Sub-Zeros festival, right? We'll make sure the next one is a smashing success.
The next one. Yes. Okay, it's a promise. It will be a smashing success.